Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Let the filibustering begin.
Welcome to Nerd Party.
Hello and welcome to Filibuster here on the Nerd Party Network, our 11th day of podcast interviews and coverage from the 2018 Edinburgh International Film Festival continues. Only another 3 days to go and still many exciting things still to bring you. Today we're lucky to bring you interviews with the cast and crew of the fantastic British feature My Friend the Polish Girl, with co-writers and directors Ewa Banaszkiewicz, Dymek, and actors Emma Friedman-Cohen and Aneta Piotrowska. And I apologise if I've got anyone's names wrong. To give you a bit of an insight into My Friend the Polish Girl, Katie, played by Emma Friedman-Cohen, a young American documentarian, casts a Polish woman in her film about the life of an immigrant in London after the Brexit referendum. Her only instruction as a director is act as if I'm not here. However, as the relationship develops, it becomes clearer that all is not what it seems in her life, and soon this would-be actor's interest in both film and Katie deepens. The documentary soon becomes a narrative of a questionable game in which two women challenge each other. This is a fantastic movie, and one that's definitely going to create a lot of debate and discussion, and there'll be so many different interpretations of what goes on in this movie. It's such an exciting movie, and I look forward to hearing what people's opinions are of the movie and of our discussion today. And I really thank everyone for getting involved and giving up so much of their time to talk with me today. It's definitely an exciting movie, and be sure to seek it out. Enjoy the show. Thank you so much for joining me. I caught the movie yesterday and I went in not knowing what to expect, and I was absolutely captivated by it. It's such a hypnotic movie to watch. I would just love to know, how does a movie like this that's so unique come around? What's the origin? What's the starting point for something like this?
I mean, we just started thinking about themes, didn't we? About what we wanted to so we just started thinking about themes, what we wanted to talk about, and the theme that we came up with was that we wanted it to be about imbalances within relationships. Mm-hmm. So that was our first level, that was something that was interesting, that we could explore. I think we're always interested in grey areas of morality, the good people who do bad things, bad people that do good things, that kind of badness within you, which I think is latent within everybody, especially in this sort of era of virtue signalling. You know, sometimes I feel like it's important to say, I feel like if we don't say people are a little bit bad as well, we're going to go into this crazy world of like perfectionism, which feels untruthful and in that way dangerous, you know, like sort of society. But anyway, we started off with this thing, and then I think we thought, well, we know the world of making films. And we often felt that, in a way, filmmakers often, do these worthy films. I mean, you know, any filmmaker, not just documentarians, worthy films about worthy causes, and then it's quite egotistical, the whole thing. And we can recognise that in ourselves, if we're honest.
Really, you just want to get to a good festival.
Just want to get to a good festival.
And do interviews.
And you're well done, you've achieved that.
Done it. That's about as deep as it gets. And so these were all things that we knew and that we wanted to explore, and so then we thought, well, why don't we do someone doing a film? And then we had this crazy idea of like, okay, but we're going to do from the sort of camera's perspective. And at first we were like, that is impossible. But gradually we thought, but if we could pull it off, it'd be really interesting and new, and we love playing with form. You know, we love cinema language. We're always very fascinated by someone who does something within a story, which is even harder, I know. So,
Yeah, plus if the film turned out bad, we could just always blame it on the character. Not doing a good film.
It's her fault.
So for that was kind of one of those things I was curious about. Then when I was watching this, I was wondering, who's the one sort of directing this movie? Is it the directors themselves, or are they directing? I think her name's Emma. Is she the one actually directing under direction as the film kind of pans out? How did you sort of go around doing that?
It's quite simple. I mean,
It's us.
we directed her. Emma is not the actress playing Katie. Emma, she didn't even hold the camera. She just holds the camera in a mirror. So 2 shots of mirror. And so we had a DP on the camera, but she was constantly sort of behind the camera, right next to it, with a microphone, and sort of pretending that she's filming her. So, yeah, that was the idea. When we edited the film, it's a fine line there between being crappy. It had to feel a bit amateurish, the film, but still it has to be watchable. And so that's the thing we struggle with. And how do you show someone being immoral, which we think Katie is in a way, but also make it her film and her not sort of knowing it.
Because it was quite hard to for her to really expose herself, though she's in control of it. So that was quite hard. How would you expose yourself? It has to be sort of she's not very conscious of this thing, or in our case, we tried to show her being. It was a faux honesty, wasn't it? Sometimes it was like I'm being honest, I'm just doing this thing, but. It was hard to sort of find that fine line of it being believable, but she exposes herself. Because you wouldn't.
Yeah. And obviously, as filmmakers and film fans, you've seen many documentaries, many films, and probably in researching this, did you see films where you can almost see the director pulling the strings and pushing things into certain directions to perhaps make something more of a movie like we see in sort of this movie? Have you seen things like that where you thought, that's really perhaps bad, or something that's inspired you to think that it's a problem that needs to be tackled?
Constantly, no?
I think it's almost a bugbear in some ways. I think when things are sort of seamless, I think they are great, but I think again it's often we
often talk, and I think that this was our film school background as well, that we often talk about the honesty of a filmmaker. I don't know how,
because we went to Polish National Film School, so we were sort of in a kind of Eastern tradition, and everything was like, what are you trying to say? Do you really care? I mean, more than anything technical, it was really like, where is your heart in this? And almost to the extent that people would say, I don't believe you even care about this. I'm like, no, I think I do care. So I think it became ingrained in us that we have to sort of explore themes that are interesting and close and truthful.
So with a film like this, that one thing I was very curious about, and it made me think last night, was sort of the immigrant experience into the UK, and this is almost, I was trying to think of it like films have been obviously it touches upon sort of Brexit in the film, and I can't think of any other films that have done that yet. Do you think this is the start of kind of a wave of movies that will look at it not just as a something that happened, but as the consequences of that on kind of normal individuals and things like that, putting that under the microscope?
Definitely,
next
we
film.
are. We have, because we also write radio plays for BBC, Radio 4, and we just did a radio play called The King of the Flat White, which is also about Brexit.
The King of the Flat White, as narrated by Her Majesty the Queen of England. But so that tackled Brexit, and we would like to, develop that into a feature script.
Plus we have a short.
Yeah, we've been commissioned to do a short already, which is sees Brexit from a child's perspective.
So we are starting that way.
We're starting that way. It's so important, and I think it's going to be around for a long time to come. I don't think this is going to be the end of it next March or whatever. This is like, I know, I think it's horrific, but it's here for a long time, I think.
And do you think it's one of these ones that, there was so much demonization of people that have come here to work, people that have come over, made honest livings and lives and got settled into the community here? Do you feel movies like this kind of add kind of a face to those and stuff, whereas people that have been demonized, whereas they're just normal individuals, it's tough?
Yeah, I mean, I I'm mixed race, and I have always somehow been being the outsider has always been a part of my cultural identity, as well as being British. But,
You grew up in London.
Yeah, I grew up in London, and and I've often done things about Sri Lankans, I'm half Sri Lankan, Polish people, English people as well. But I feel it's so important for me and us to present these people not as issues, but as she could be any race, really. Yeah. She could be just as easily a British girl with the same character. And in a way, that's our political statement, because I think sometimes I think when constantly my people are the victim, you know, they sort of, they're either someone you feel sorry for or they're someone you hate, but they're not just the person you get on with, you know, like day to day, they're not you. And I think there's a lot more of like each other and each other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Absolutely, and with the film as well, like what's been kind of the reaction from people that have seen it, not just people that are here at festivals, but people that are being represented on screen, you know, people that have come to this country, people where they might identify with this character?
I mean, I don't know yet, you know, because it's really, you know, it's UK premiere, so we haven't had such a wide sort of audience. I mean,
Is anyone?
that Polish journalist has just seen it, but I don't. Maybe you mean she's Polish. She lives in England. She adored it, but I think she didn't see it as. I think she saw it as more the character. Than
Yeah,
the
it's not
Polishness.
really our intention to. I mean, it's not our intention to make a film about immigrants. No.
Well, not in that way, but I think it's a big theme in our lives. We're always talking about an out. It's a big theme in our lives, but I think, in a way, I just think that our political statement is that we're all, you know, we don't want these people to be like these, like, you know, people you observe in a cage, you know, and look at their funny little lives. I find that actually quite patronising a lot of the time, at being someone of, you know. Yeah, sometimes I do.
Because especially when you've got, like, you know, you've got the director behind, in the film that is, you've got a director behind the camera orchestrating sort of, you know, someone that isn't British's life, kind of like pushing them in the directions, trying to ramp things up, and what do you think of this, what do you think, trying to be quite provocative. And I was thinking, there must be a sort of statement behind something like that, you know, we've got this white voice, you know, pushing people in their kind of directions, and it just reminded me of a lot of the things that we've been kind of seeing in the past few years personally.
Like what, for example?
Well, just when I think of kind of with we'll kind of have like immigration is, you know, it's being discussed, but a lot of the time it's being, you look at the TV and the people that are on the panels and discussion shows, it's white individuals, it's, you know, white British people, it's white Americans in America, for example. And then when I look at it here, I don't see the representation of sometimes those marginalised communities on those shows like Newsnight or BBC News talking about, well, this is what we think of it from our community. It's like, it's a white person often talking on behalf of, yes, well, you know, this is, you see it in America just now with, you know, people are being removed from their children, and the people that they've got on the television, it's often just this white individual that's going, well, this is it, this is that, which is not to say that their views aren't valid, but they've not got the representation of perhaps an immigrant, someone that's maybe gone through that experience, come into the country legally, made a life, sharing that experience, and it becomes almost like we're hearing white people explain the plight of other people as opposed to maybe giving that kind of balance.
I mean, I agree, because I think this Polish community especially is like massive. It's been here for a long time. My grandfather came over, you know, and yet it really doesn't have much of a voice. And also I think it was really important for us to not have a cleaner prostitute or a builder as our Polish character. I mean, it's not that I think she's a fully formed light and dark character. You know, we didn't just go like some, you know, amazing person, which is not our style. But it was important that we didn't have a stereotype as a whole.
Because I think of that great line in the movie where it's like, have you acted before? Yeah, I've played a prostitute 7 times. And I thought, that's a lot of the roles that you see people from Eastern Europeans, Russians, all these people, it's like...
That's the actress's real experience as well.
Yeah? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, she's always saying cleaner, you know, prostitute, you know.
And it was just, I just thought, it's so true. And I was just thinking of all these movies where I've seen those characters given representation, but it's this tiny, minuscule role. It's not the lead character often. It's like, as you're saying, it's one of the biggest communities in the country. Where are they on the news? Where are they in the public debate? Where are they in films about British society? It's so lacking.
Where are they? You know, kind of just on social drama, whatever. Just, you know, they're just not, and yet they're everywhere, but they're a bit... Yeah, I always think there's a lot of lip service to change, and yet not very much. Like, I'm interested. We're in change at a time when people are saying, "This has got to change. We can't be like this." And I'm yeah. I've been here 100 times before. Yeah, we'll see.
And then just with it, like, one of the things that's quite fascinating about the movie is the blend of animation and documentary. Was animation always going to be a part of this movie, or was that kind of come from your sort of artistic background that you'd like to incorporate that in as well? What was the origin of that?
It was meant to be in the film. It was written into the script.
We haven't done that before.
No.
So that was quite a new thing. I think, like, having watched a lot of Tumblr artists and bloggers and stuff, they do anything to get attention. So there's a lot of collage of different forms, and we like that style, I guess. That form of expression. I think also animation is very good to sort of, I think I said that yesterday on the Q&A, in a short way, just tell something in a symbolical way. You can just convey a lot of things at once, whereas if you have a live action thing,
I think there was a lot of things in the animation that we said that we couldn't have said it would take a whole film almost to say, though, to explain that in a subtle, touching way, and yet you could sort of just, it has an immediacy animation, which we've really discovered, actually.
And then with kind of the next sort of thing that I was kind of curious about is like the use of colour in this movie. In the beginning you're watching, it's black and white, and then like the font can be pink, then there's scenes where like I almost think at one point I just like caught, like you see like a flash of colour on a bra, for example, or it cuts to the director and then you see her in full colour. What was the moments and pieces where you thought, right, we'll use this as colour, this is not? What was your kind of thinking behind your use of colour?
Now we experimented quite a lot. I mean, some of the things were written in the script, like sort of the Barbie doll in the bathtub, that was in colour because that's sort of a creation of Katie's, it's sort of not real.
Katie's creations are the colour shots,
but also I would say sort of the emotional
and the
and her selfies.
Yes, and an emotional, her selfies are colour. So it's kind of when she steps out of the sort of documentary she's making.
Yeah, that would be we feel it. The logic.
And I think that the emojis and everything was just sort of a build-up.
Yeah, but they have to be in colour.
Because it was quite curious, because I remembered like I think it was earlier in the week, like the post where you were sat downstairs, the poster is almost right there on that wall, and it just catches your attention. You see this girl in her top and her underwear and these emojis, and you catch that and think, what is that film? I'm curious to find out, and I'm interested with it, like almost marketing campaigns, that here you are now, it's like the premiere here at Edinburgh. How does you get attention for a film like this that makes people go, oh, what is that film? And then proceed to go and watch it? How do you get it into the audiences? How do you get people to see these things?
We don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're doing. No, we just, we had not completely different, we had a different poster for Rotterdam, which we felt didn't really represent the film. I mean, it had quite liked as well.
I mean, it was a popular poster, but it was like a woman's arse and an Instagram frame with the likes and stuff, and we felt that made the film seem too light-hearted, and we felt like in a festival our feeling was it's quite important that people don't feel disappointed by what they feel, that they're going to see what they put up for, because it's not like a distribution campaign, just getting them in there and then it doesn't matter. We're trying to sort of build an audience for this, so
the people who's going to be put off by the poster are not going to like the film.
Because it's interesting, because I saw that when I looked at the IMDb page and stuff, and it has that Rotterdam poster, and you think of it, that could be something about social media, our interaction with that. Whereas when you see the poster that's here, the quad poster, the use of emojis, the black and white, you think, that it almost does seem like a different movie, and I think that one captures so well that movie. When you kind of see it in retrospect, you go, that poster, I know what that's kind of trying to say now.
Yeah, we think we're actually very pleased with this poster now. We think it captures it in the way that the other one didn't. For Rotterdam, we were literally finishing the film. We were and we're a small team. We're very hands-on with all the marketing. Like, we want to control it as much as we can, because I think we understand it's an unusual. I think I wouldn't be going too far to say like most people haven't seen anything really very much like this before. So we get it. And so I feel that we need the ones to be driving this, because I think we get this film more than anyone else.
I'm curious as well, like obviously as writers, directors, now the movie is out there now, it's going to become a film. How do you stay on top of it? Like, as you say, you've got this control over it, then it's going to go now out into audiences who will dissect it, discuss it, see things perhaps others don't. How does that feel to now know that it's going to have a life beyond you and your editing suite and your small crew?
Well, that's exactly what we want. Really, I mean, I'm really always interested to hear what people say, and I'm very interested in people being candid. I think we, came from a tough schooling. I mean, that was really a very, very long time ago, but I think that stayed with us. We came from a very...
But it's always,
critical,
from a more selfish point of view, I mean, it was a long edit on this one, and all the festivals we submitted to that we didn't get in, we constantly kept tweaking the film. And once we got into an A-list one, you sort of have to stop tweaking, and it's sort of like the cliche metaphor. It's like a child that grows up, and you have to. And it just felt really sad to have that. This is the last version.
There's not going to be another one after this.
You can't change anything else.
There's the director's cut in a few years, the 20th anniversary 4K Blu-ray edition.
But they say, like, because you never finish a film, you just stop at a certain point, and so then we had to stop. But I think we did really by that time think it was ready.
And where's the next for the film now then? Obviously this is its premiere, then where does it go?
We can't tell you yet.
We have
but we have something like
big
Perfect, excellent.
coming up.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I wish you all the best of the movie. It was one of the most interesting movies I've seen this festival. It's got so many great performances, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. So thank you very much for talking with me.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining me. How do you feel to finally be bringing this movie here to the Edinburgh Film Festival?
Oh, very happy, very happy. It's such a great festival, and to be here is an honour really for all of us. Super grateful. Yeah, I went to university here as well, so it feels extra special kind of being back for this reason. It's really lovely.
That's fantastic. So, how did you both become involved in such a unique project? I was just chatting with the writers-directors there, and they talked about how the film went through various different kind of cuts and things like that. What was it like when you first got involved, when you saw that script? It's such an interesting role for both of you. So.
Well, I think for both of us, they kind of had us in mind, I guess, when they were working on it from the start. Probably just because I'm one of the few Americans they know as well. But kind of, I guess when they had a pretty fully realised version, I just got an email from them. I had auditioned for them a couple of years ago, didn't get that role, and they called me up for this one. And it just felt very different and very kind of unique and a little terrifying. And I'd known Mateusz for a few years at that point, and they asked me if I would be in their film if they, wrote something fun, and then we kind of talked about it for a little bit, and then the script arrived, and we both had the moment of like, this isn't how you see us, though, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of curious for both of you. I'll start with you, Emma. With that, like, when you're kind of doing this role, it's a challenge for you because it's predominantly a lot of voice that you're caught in the mirrors every so often, or the phone, or things like that. Is there a worry of going into a role like that, going, right, how do I voice something like this? Am I projecting more? Is a lot of kind of, what's the process for becoming sort of a voice over in a way?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think in the moment we didn't fully realise it, just because I was always behind the camera kind of acting with Aneta. That was one of the best parts, was we actually really got to play off of each other. So it kind of, I had in some ways less pressure because the camera wasn't on me, which is very weird. I rely on my face, I guess, quite a bit normally. But it just, in the kind of the process and the way we filmed it, it really was just doing scenes but without a camera on me. Which I didn't know how that would turn out, or if it needed to be different, because it's not voiceover. It's just, I wasn't sure how it was going to kind of present itself in the end. And it's definitely weird hearing my voice that much. It's definitely strange.
And then for you, Aneta, this is such a demanding role. I was thinking earlier, I was like, I think you're in every single shot and scene, bar the odd one or two, and you're literally bearing your soul, your body, everything in this movie. What's that like for an actor to read through a script like that and know that you're almost going to be in everything? Do you get excited by it, think this is everything I waited for, or is there a bit of nerves?
Oh, definitely both. It was as challenging and exciting as daunting and dangerous. So, but all of those things I found positively overall, and I really wanted to, and I felt that all those difficult scenes, were somehow justified for the story, and I felt quite lucky to have something like layered like this to work on. So as much as it was difficult, it was somehow fulfilling as well.
So I was thinking, like, when I was watching the movie, I was thinking, like, it's been something I thought of this whole festival, is the amount of representation here in the film, whether it's women in lead roles, it's individuals with disabilities in front of and behind the camera. And I was thinking, like, how many Polish actors do we see in British movies? And there's a line that you say in the film that, I've played a prostitute 7 times. And I thought, like, I start to think about the movies where I see Eastern European representation. I was like, that's it. And the director said that's been your history as well in these roles. How frustrating that is as an actress to feel that that's what it's been reduced to sometimes, and then something like this comes along, it's like representation, it's here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's very frustrating, and I did complain about it a lot to the guys before we even had the film. And at some point I was just so upset about this that I just decided not to take any of those parts or even castings that would be, purely that kind of type, and it really annoyed me. And I think there is this weird misconception, and that is changing slowly. I've been talking to casting directors about it actually every time I had an opportunity to chat to the industry folk. I was just like, how is that? Why are we always portraying that way? Like, is there? I mean, I don't even know anyone. I mean, all my Polish friends, various universities, and just normal people. Like, how come that we just portray as the cliche types? But that's just the way. But it's changing. There's hope.
Because I think it's quite curious. Like, Poland is one of our biggest communities here, Scotland in particular, in the UK. And it's that lack of representation, of giving a voice. We saw it with obviously Brexit, which is touched upon sort of in the making of this movie, of they're demonised, but then when you tune into Channel 4 or anything like that, the news, where's the Polish representation to say, this is what we contribute to society, this is why we love working here, whereas instead it's like, people come to this country taking jobs. Does that frustrate you when you think that's the situation it is there, and it's like in terms of casting and representation?
Totally. I think it's unfair and kind of very kind of narrow-mindedly assessed. But as I said, I've been told and reassured that things are changing, and like for parts in particular. When it doesn't say that the person comes, is British or any specific ethnicity, then there's no reason why, anyone could be considered for that. So there's at least an awareness now of the lack of representation and diversity on all fronts. So it needs to change. Speaking as the opposite side.
But then it's also a problem that you face as well and stuff, and perhaps that. It's all obviously naturally relative, but we look at kind of movies that have been here at the festival, and I was having a conversation with Natalie Dormer yesterday. She's one of the biggest film actors in the world. She's like, some of the roles I'm getting are like, it's this, it's that, it's nothing potentially special. So she's had to go out there and write a script for herself and create it to where she's now going to be the lead. Is it frustrating for you as actresses to, some of the qualities of roles that you're being given, and how it's all kind of been going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, women in film is kind of at the forefront of everyone's kind of mind as well. And I know it's also probably even at the festival, right, there's kind of a real focus on it, just in terms of not just actors, but writers, directors, sound tech, kind of looking at actually the numbers and the percentages. The hope is that everyone's out there, everyone wants to create the work, so just creating the opportunities to actually make it happen. And hopefully that will change, It will. Let's just say it will. Let's stick with there's no other way.
We'll will it into existence.
Even if it takes us writing our own stories and putting films together, we'll get there.
I'm curious as well, one of the most striking aspects of the film is obviously your character, Emma, that is pulling the strings behind the camera and pushing things in other directions. And is that something that you have experienced as actresses, where or seen when you've been watching documentaries? Because these are the creative talent, you've got the eye for knowing what's going on. Have you felt like directors pushing you in areas, and what's that like as an experience?
I mean, personally, there's definitely an element, the power dynamic. I think whenever you're on set and you have to trust the directors that you work with on any film, right? Ideally, it's a beautiful collaboration, but there's always going to be kind of different moments. And luckily I've never worked with someone like Katie. I've never had that experience. But I did. My only experience of kind of is that awareness of what it's like when someone. You are their subject, you are their voyeur into your life, and they have the camera on you, and that I know that feeling of someone watching you and observing you. To have it turned was very different, but I kind of have that in the back of my mind, I suppose.
And there is always, I don't know, no matter how you look at it, there will always be that moment of pushing the boundaries, and you know, that dynamic is a very fragile and sort of sensitive area of working that together.
Trust.
And like it can be easily tipped over too far, you know, and but you kind of have to establish from the very start whether you are willing to go on that journey and whether you're trusting the people that you're working with, obviously most importantly, and you know, like like I said, that there were moments where I felt unsure or a little bit just concerned about things, but then it was their job to kind of comfort us and just make sure that
the film is definitely the darkest depiction of a subject kind of different relationship, without a doubt.
And then kind of with something like this film where you're now going to go out and find an audience, what kind of debates and discussions are you hoping that it's going to create? Like I was chatting with the writer-director there, and it was like something I interpreted, I was like, I was viewing it almost that, you know, so many of the times that we're seeing individuals, for example, from have moved to this country, whether they're black, Polish, and they're never the ones dictating or taking the conversation, but it's often a white individual that's put on the camera, that's pulling the strings of this and that. And we even see it in America just now with how they're, you know, children are being separated, but the people on the screen aren't people that have come from immigrants. It's been, here's a white individual. And I saw almost that aspect of like, that's maybe happening there. What kind of things do you think will come out from this film and discussions, debates, and...
Well, that power relationship definitely kind of translates into, like, you know, the whole political picture that we have present, you know, in our times right now. So it is definitely like a transferable kind of relationship that is too familiar. But it makes me feel that it's never even. So it's never even. It's always that one side that is slightly more in control of the other, and it's always that the weaker, like the kind of stronger individuals are attracted to the weaker ones only to take advantage of them. I mean, it's a negative kind of impression, but I feel that it is also the case. That's how I see and Alicja.
I think, like you're saying, the power, being aware of the power of image manipulation. So how you can never look at something and think, oh, that isn't right. I live in America, fake news, you know, that kind of idea that don't take anything at face value. There are, like you're saying, always two sides. And I think the film surprises people in the questions that it actually brings up, because it is two women, both with real kind of deeply seated vulnerabilities and discomforts, and it's the surface level is not at all about what's kind of going on the facade, and that our relationships to our bodies, to ourselves, to the art, all of that good stuff.
And with the film, obviously, like it starts off wanting to follow someone in that post-Brexit Britain. What was your reaction, firstly, kind of, Emma, of like an American looking in on Britain at the time? I'm not sure if you were here at the time, but what was it like for you looking in as this all unfolded here?
Oh, well, we'll get to my political beliefs. I mean, I fall on the liberal side of the liberals. I think it's any marginalization, any segregation, kind of all of that, I just think needs to not be brushed on. It's wonderful to be able to kind of examine it in a new way. And I think the film, we didn't kind of know how it was going to play out, or It needs to be told. Yes.
Yeah, and it feels like it could be, maybe this is the first of Brexit movies, because I'm sitting there thinking, there was 2 years ago, just the other day and stuff, and I was thinking, there's not really been any films. There's been some documentaries, some articles. When has it been discussed? And it's usually of, right, how did it unfold within these politics? But instead of how did it impact on the people that have come here that are being demonised?
What are already I think everyone's looking to the long-term consequences as opposed to look at, and obviously I've not been affected personally, but just emotionally even how that would feel, because like it's like the Women's March in Trussling election, that's how personal and heartbreaking in many ways.
And what was it like for yourself that, I don't know if you were here at the time or stuff like that, what was it like for you as almost as, you're the subject matter of this movie and, the sort of the story, what was it like for yourself when that happened?
Well, when Brexit happened, it was just shocking, totally unexpected. Just didn't know anyone would even do that. So it was absolutely. I remember crying that day. I was like, this is just too surreal, and obviously we haven't seen many pictures about it yet, just because it's still early days, I feel. And I would imagine in a year's time you would have at least a handful of them.
Probably just with the production cycle and stuff like that. Something like this you can get.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. And what's next for both of you? It's such an exciting movie, and I hope it opens up opportunities and stuff like that. What will you be hoping to do next?
Nothing major in the pipeline just yet. I'm recording a little podcast pilot next week, and I'm just getting on with my little voiceover jobs here and there. But no films planned as yet.
So I'm based in New York still at the moment, bouncing around, so just kind of auditioning film and stuff, and so still doing theatre back in the States as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so fantastic to meet you, and I wish you all the best with the movie. It's such a fantastic and interesting movie, and I think it's going to provoke so many interesting debates and discussions. So good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
No problem.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.
Welcome to Nerd Party.